Welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. I am Bo Oliver, your host, and I'm joined here today with my co-host, and that's Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and we are back to talk about the world of Hollywood, movies, TV, video games. No Teddy today, because he had a baby. Congratulations to Teddy. Yay, new member of the family and the Soup family. He's doing well, Elena's doing well, so congratulations to them. Well wishes. Enjoyed having you on the pod all these years. It sucks that it's coming to an end. But people are going to take that seriously. It's good for promotion. Tweet about that shit. Listen to the podcast. Apple Podcasts. I've been saying iTunes for years. iTunes doesn't exist anymore. Spotify and Google Podcasts. Amazon Music as well. And I think we are officially on Pandora. And you can follow us on social media at Bo Soup, Nerd Soup Monkey, and Nerd Soup.
Yeah.
Give Teddy Nerd Soup a follow too. Might as well.
Yeah.
Special occasion.
I hope he's not one of those kid people, though, where, like, this whole Instagram and everything is just his kid. And everything he posts is about the kid.
I thought that, too, but I don't think any of us would hesitate to check him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's good to have friends that way, because, you know, that's something my dad hated. He hated parents who always talked about their kids. And I think he passed that down to me. So, no, I'll check him.
No, I mean, like, occasional picture here and there is a little like, oh, this is cute, whatever. But you have some people who just, like, everything is just kid.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, go to, like, the fucking zoo. Take a picture with a lion. But no.
They're going to be like, oh, look at the monkeys with their kids. That reminds me of me with my kid.
Yeah. Zoo is a bad option because you're probably bringing your kid to the zoo, and then that's going to be another zoo kid pick.
Right. Those are instances, scenarios that make me never want to have kids. The idea of going to a zoo with a kid. As going to a zoo on its own sucks.
Yes.
Bringing a fucking kid so they can not appreciate anything.
Yeah. It's, I don't know.
If I could guarantee, like they said, you're going to have one of these wise beyond their years, old soul kids, a little depressed, he's going to have an idea that the world sucks kind of right away, sign me up.
No, you don't want the moody kid.
No, he's not moody, but he's a bit shy, a bit reserved.
Yeah, that's the thing, because, like, you don't know until, like, what, 8?
You know who has got great kids? My cousins. I always say this. My cousins in Texas, they have 3 boys.
Just cool
like,
kids.
if I could have a son like that.
I would rather, like Click was real, I would fast forward a little. Hey, Dad, I just got my first NFT. Honey, we fucked up.
Go back.
I blame this on you.
Well, we have a lot of interesting stories to talk about. We got some big trailers, some big-time box office news, and some movie news, a little trouble behind the scenes in the MCU. But we've also got some plugs to drop. So we've got our Ozark Season 4 Part 2 review dropping this week, and that is featuring myself, Aaron, and Nash. So that's going to be dropping Friday. But I've been telling Aaron Thursday, so he has a little pep in his step. So this is news for you, too.
Well, I'm going to play MLB all day then. I got an extra day.
You're like, I haven't even started Ozark. Been waiting.
I haven't even finished the series.
So that's going to be not only a Part 2 review, but a Part 1 review as well, because obviously we've never reviewed Ozark on this channel, but it's a show that feels like it came and went. So I don't know if we were ever going to be that on time with the timing of our review, but it's going to be dropping Friday. So if you haven't caught up for Part 2, make sure you watch it. It's going to be full of spoilers. We're going to talk about that explosive ending. And also we have our Fan Question podcast dropping this weekend with Marissa, and we'll be doing a Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness spoiler discussion Part 2. So we're going to take some spoiler questions on the movie, and we're going to be chopping it up with Marissa on Discord. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
Doing that tonight, actually. So news for you. More news for you.
When do you tell? You got to tell me these things.
Well, not tonight for the podcast. So tomorrow night.
It's still like I got things.
I know.
I do things.
I just planned it with Marissa. So
how do I do it? I got to do it at home?
Yeah, you're going to be at home on Discord.
It's a new environment.
What do you mean? We've done several podcasts on Discord.
I don't think I've ever recorded it. Oh, no, I have recorded at home. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, twice.
Just new for me.
On screen with Matt Neglia, Eric Nolan Anthony, big time actor, man. He's got several pictures coming out this year.
What?
That was Skype.
You're lucky I have no plans or never do anything.
Right. Well, I plan accordingly. I plan based on you not having plans.
You could say, like, literally, oh, yeah, Thursday at 9 p.m. we got to do this. But, yeah, okay. Saturday at 4. Nothing in the works.
Yeah, maybe we actually will record Saturday at 4 with Teddy, because we're bringing back Big Ted for a Star Wars review, so he'll be on that. And next week, we're actually also going to be reviewing with Teddy Moon Knight, so he's back in action. He retired for a bit there, a little paternity leave, and so he'll be on 2 videos coming up. But Moon Knight, we didn't get a chance to review episode 5 and episode 6 because I didn't really enjoy them that much. And I didn't want to subject myself to the comments section because I was going to read them and I was going to get all upset. So we'll do a big Moon Knight series review. You know, we'll pepper it with some positive thoughts, and then we'll get into the stuff that I didn't like.
Yeah, that's
help
fair.
That like-dislike ratio, even though it's not visible to anybody but us these days.
Yeah, that helps.
Oh yeah.
I used to. Well, usually we have like usually a good ratio, especially when we had it. I think the only bad ratios we had were with the season 8 reviews for Game of Thrones. You know, that was upsetting.
More second half.
I would convince myself, like, yeah, anything over 50% is good. Because that means half the people, more than half liked it. I'll take it.
That's a spin job and a half.
It is, but...
Give yourself vertigo.
Yeah, but it works.
And the Captain Marvel videos, it's always so funny. Anything Captain Marvel, it's going to be like 8-2 ratio, like to dislike.
Unless it's
at the highest. Unless it's like Captain Marvel sucks.
Yeah, then it's...
It's 99.
Yeah.
Actually, those are the highest ratios. All right, let's get to the first story here. Long-awaited trailer for a long-awaited movie. It's been literally almost 15 years in the making, but it's almost finally here. Avatar 2, The Way of Water. This is a trailer that dropped in front of Doctor Strange. We weren't treated to that trailer. We got Top Gun.
Yeah, we got an extended look at Top Gun 2.
Which actually does look fantastic, and apparently it's one of the best movies of the year.
I know. That's like a surprise, because I didn't think like it was going to be bad, because I think, especially with Tom Cruise, to do like a movie in this world, like currently, like just how he is about like stunts and action and trying to make it as realistic as possible, I knew it was going to be like entertaining in that regard. But, you know, revisiting Top Gun after how many years, I felt like, I don't know, it might not be that necessary, but the reviews got me fucking excited. And that look in IMAX with the sound and everything, even like a Dolby, is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, the one thing that sticks out about that movie is that I know they're shooting it in IMAX, but it does feel massive.
Yeah.
It feels like such a big movie. But for this trailer, once again, this felt like a big epic as well, just like the first movie. So obviously we've been talking about the first Avatar for many, many years now. People have their thoughts and their opinions. But I think for most people, they are excited just to see what this is.
Yeah, I thought this was like a pretty good trailer. Like, I don't think it really gave you too much about the plot or anything, but like just revisiting this world, seeing it I'm going to say this, but I don't mean it as a negative towards how this one looks. But the first one looks like that's just a testament to how the first one and what they were able to do with that movie, because they look pretty fucking identical. When you compare them,
yeah, the first one still holds up.
Side
That's
to
the
side,
thing, yeah.
which is insane. And I'm only sure the improvements with the IMAX and CGI these days, like, it's only going to be even that much more breathtaking.
Right, they're more detailed, definitely. And some of those close-ups, you could see that, yeah, the technology is definitely improved. And it's not even a situation where, well, I think it is. You know, that era from like 2005 to 2010, there were a lot of great leaps. When you look at 2006's Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, Davy Jones CGI, people always comment about that on the internet, how well it holds up to this day. And then the Avatar movie in 2008. So I think that we did take such great leaps where it's, you know, it's not sort of from the 90s to 98 to 2008. It's, whoa, things have changed. 2008 to 2022, things have gotten better, but it's not that drastic.
I think even back in like that era, like we've definitely made leaps, but I think if you put in the time and effort and people who really knew what they were doing and you had the resources, you could make it look, and it shows that it could hold up all these years later. But I just don't think that was as accessible back then. That's why you got some shitty CGI and still continue to do, but it just shows you put in the time and effort and get like the right team across. Like back then, today, you can make things that are pretty spectacular to watch.
That is a good point, man, because when it comes to this, it's time. Obviously, it's also skill, and there are obviously companies developing technology that goes a long way. But you look at the budget for those two movies, Pirates 2 and Avatar, they were both north of $300 million. So
and then that's back then, too.
Right, and that buys you time. Endgame and Infinity War, obviously, the details of Thanos, I think that was a character that also kind of sits in the realm of the Avatars and Davy Jones. But the story focusing on the oceans of Pandora is something that he's been talking about for many, many years. And that's something that I think is going to be incredible. I guess we have Aquaman, so that primarily takes place. Well, not primarily, but it's like half and half. But yeah, the movies haven't really gone this direction because it's so difficult to make that look real.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's with James Cameron, it's always bold. It's always going to be ambitious. And a lot of the shots in this trailer, the new creature that came out of the water, the flying water creature, that's his imagination is just going to run wild. And also, how are they going to work in the political story here, like they had in the first one, with the company that's trying to obtain the unobtainium, which is very hard to obtain? Are they trying to get another resource? Is there a water element?
I don't want to say like I'm not looking forward to the story, but I feel like that's kind of secondary in my my anticipation.
Yeah, that is true.
I just kind of want to just transport it to Pandora again, because even I think a lot of people have the criticism of the first movie. Like some of the story elements weren't all that great, but still going to see that back then with the 3D and that was the draw. And it was so well done that you could forgive some of those aspects. Obviously, I want a great story as well to supplement all those, but I'm kind of just intrigued to see where they're going to take it, as far as what they're able to do with this world. And I really
hope it's 3 hours, man.
Yeah.
I want it to be big, just everything about it.
IMAX, 3D, 4D, yeah. 5D. 5D.
James Cameron just comes out and smacks you. Sam Worthington, what a weird career. Somebody made this point the other day. I actually think the original Avatar's 2009, not 2008. But he's star leading actor of the biggest movie of all time, and now he's the fourth lead on an FX show. And he comes back to Avatar, gets a nice little payday here.
Right.
He was good in the first Avatar. I always enjoyed his voiceover. Obviously, he's doing the mocap with Zoe Saldana's performance in the first Avatar is actually just flat out great.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun to see her back. Also, it's weird. I don't know what's going on with that kid that they have with them, because he looks like a human, but I don't know if maybe he's got the human DNA of Jake Sully.
Hybrid?
Right. He's an Avatar human hybrid.
That's pretty dope.
Well, those Avatars they're 6'8".
6'8". They're 7-footers. They had a bunch
of 7-footers?
Yeah, a bunch of Giannis's.
Some stretch force.
Just fucking 7 foot, but athletic. They got the reach, quickness.
I know that was fun, man. The war, because obviously they don't have the technology, but they're just big as fuck.
Well, right, obviously the political messaging, kind of reminiscent of that of our own history with the natives and kind of things like that. So, but it's not like the Ewoks taking down the stormtroopers, because these are. Even though they don't have the technology, they're still just specimens that can
they're
make
specimens.
A sphere into a fucking 300, a 10-foot speeding bullet,
Right.
So I think on that front, it was interesting to see the different strategies and tactics they use to kind of counter our even more advanced, because this takes place in the future, technology. So it's kind of a weird movie too. It's where it's Earth versus planet, and you're rooting for you fuck Earth.
I know, we're all traitors.
Yeah.
Well, they were being dicks.
That's true.
They were trying to take their unobtainium. Yeah, and the fantasy elements were always really cool.
The point of unobtainium that they understand. You cannot obtain this.
I love that actor who played the douchebag corporate guy. He was the weirdo in Ted 2.
Oh,
I can never Giovanni Ribsby.
Yeah.
I think he died in that first one, so I don't think he's coming back. Oh no, he was just fucking arrested. He's definitely coming back. He's gonna be, weaseling it up, trying to figure something out.
That's the draw.
I'm surprised they're hiding him. That's why he wasn't in the trailer. But are you on the train of this is going to come out and make massive amounts of money? Because I'm already ready to plant my flag. I think this is going to be huge. I think people, so we don't talk about Jake Sully, and we don't talk about the Na'vi, and we don't get Stan accounts for all the different characters, but people know what this is.
Yeah.
They still do. The Saw Hill test. They're making another Avatar.
I'll make a Jake Sully fan cam.
I'm going to change my profile picture on Twitter. I need to think of a clever name to fit my name into. I tried to do that with Better Call Saul, but I just made myself Bo Goodman.
Lazy.
Very lazy.
Avatar. Pat Benatar. Kind of combined. You got to be a Pat Benatar fan though too.
Who the hell is Pat Benatar?
Hit me with your best shot. Hell of a song.
Oh, I thought you were asking me if I wanted to punch you. I got weak hands.
The way I'll think of something.
The Way of Water. That was my. You have a favorite Avatar tweet when the trailer dropped?
I didn't really see many like funny ones.
I saw one that said this is going to be the wettest movie in terms of water.
I want to leave that theater soaked.
That's a great drop. Yeah, we're going to put that in the old drop box. Well, any last thoughts before we move on to U.S. weekend box office? Like I said, I think this comes out north of $2 billion. I'll put that right now.
I'm looking forward to seeing the re-release.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, man.
That's something I want to do. Like,
just increasing that lead over Endgame.
Because I probably have only seen it in theater once, and I don't think I really even appreciated it when I saw it. And then I've seen it on like TV and everything, but it's not the same, especially with a movie like that. I hate when people's like, you got to see this in cinemas. Run to your nearest theater. But like for a movie like this, I think that applies.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that about The Bad Guys, but apparently people haven't been listening because it came in at number 2 on the U.S. weekend box office.
But have people been saying that?
No. We're moving on here. Number 1, not a big surprise, but I was shocked by how much it managed to make. And some people were saying, oh, it underperformed. But for me, 187 in this climate over a domestic weekend, that's huge.
It's pretty big.
And I was surprised to, rediscover some of the opening weekends that Marvel has had. But I think it's already north of 400 million worldwide. So yeah, that's a huge weekend. And number 2 was The Bad Guys with 9.5 million. Domestically, that's got 57. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, just a consistent name week to week, made another 6 million. So domestically, it's got 170. Fantastic Beasts came in at 4 with 4.2, and it's got 86 million domestically.
Ew.
Yeah, they're saying it might not even go north over 100 million domestic, which would be the first in the Wizarding World franchise. And number 5, once again, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Bit of a drop-off from last week, but it still made 3.5 million, and it's got a domestic total of 41. Yeah, I mean, Doctor Strange, man, that's a Marvel weekend.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to have like the sustainability we've seen with other Marvel films, especially like a No Way Home, but yeah, I think it's definitely going to do well. I don't think anyone expected it to flop, so I'm not too surprised with that. Did you see the AMC app thing in the city with all the showtimes where it had like 40 different showtimes for Doctor Strange?
Right, yeah, that could actually have a lot to do with it. And I think that also has a lot to do with Everything Everywhere All at Once dropping 36%. Because so many of those showtimes were probably just wiped out for Doctor Strange. Doesn't bode well for smaller movies, and people have been discussing that rampantly. But I was surprised by just how many people now consider Doctor Strange to be one of these main guys. And I wonder if for a lot of people the selling point was the possibility of crossovers. But that to me, that's a huge number. Mm-hmm. That's a Spider-Man solo movie number. So, and the marketing, obviously the title, but I don't think a lot of the casual fans picked up on the hints towards crossovers or other possible cameos. I think a lot of people just went out to see this because it's only in theaters and they recognize Strange and Wanda, and that's good enough. Mm-hmm. So I do wonder if it will have some legs here, but next weekend's going to be very interesting to see what the drop-off is. Yeah. That's going to be a big sign.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how many people are dying to see it again after they saw it for the first time. Not to say that it was bad, but like,
right.
I don't think.
Well, do you think it being a short movie gives it more rewatchability?
That never really, for me, that doesn't matter, but maybe for some people.
Because that definitely hurt Batman. I think that's why Batman didn't go north of 850.
Batman, I wasn't hesitant to go see it again, but I also knew it was coming out in HBO Max fairly soon, so I wasn't rushing back to the theater to sit there for 3 hours.
Yeah, I only went twice. Yeah, next week, like I said, that will be very telling of where this movie is going to end up, because it looks like it could make some decent ground here.
I think $1 billion is definitely...
That would be wild.
In the crosshairs.
Dude. Fucking Doctor Strange movie makes $1 billion. You know what sucks, though, is that I enjoyed the movie, but if it was better, who knows how much this could have made. Yeah. If this was like a surefire 90 to 95% Rotten Tomatoes, everyone loves it, the word of mouth is overwhelmingly positive, this could have been like gangbusters, like No Way Home.
Because what, I mean, 400 opening weekend worldwide?
Yeah, that's pretty up. That's high up there when it comes to Marvel worldwide.
So maybe like if it gets like 6 by second weekend, it's possible.
I think they're probably happy with this. I know something they're not happy with. John Watts leaving the Fantastic Four movie. Another great transition by me. Pat on the back here. Did you get this story on the outline? Well, you already know about this.
What?
John Watts, director of Spider-Man trilogy, the MCU trilogy, has left the Fantastic Four franchise.
That's unfortunate.
It is, but you know what? Fantastic Four is still a bit of ways away. Obviously, they haven't started production, and now they need to find a new director. And I do wonder if this is a case of, I've done 3 of these. They've been in such quick succession. I need a break from all of this. And he said in his statement that hopefully he'll work with Marvel Studios again. I don't know if we need to sound the alarms. Feige's losing control, the creative disputes between his writers and his directors. I'd be excited to see, I've enjoyed those Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
But the suggestion of a few years back of J.J. Abrams doing a Fantastic Four, I'd like a name like that, a big name, it's going to come out and just be a $250 million budget. It's going to be an epic. Mm-hmm. We're not holding back for this. People know who these characters are, and I think they're starving for a good movie. Yeah.
Obviously, I've liked all the Spider-Man movies, so I think he would have been a great choice for Fantastic Four, but I don't think it's anything where I'm, overreacting or have any reaction to, there's problems in Marvel, or, the script might not be good or shit like that. I think it's just something where, he might just want to go a different direction. And maybe, I think it's kind of a good thing in the way where, obviously Marvel has repeated directors, but I always feel like, all right, James Gunn is Guardians, right? He's Spider-Man. Taika has Thor now. Give someone else, get some other voices in there as well.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. This article suggests Brad Bird. That's been a long suggested name from fans because of his work on The Incredibles, which is still the only good Fantastic Four movie actually 2 of them now. And I keep suggesting this name. Well, I suggested this name a few weeks back for Superman, but I think Jordan Peele would be great for Fantastic Four because I think he can do a comic book movie. He's going to bring his humor, and he's going to bring his thrills.
Yeah.
When it comes to action, it's kind of a wait and see. But other directors have proven, Ryan Coogler, coming off of Fruitvale Station, coming off of Creed, can he direct action? Black Panther, yeah, he proved he could. So, they have assistant directors. They have choreographers that help them out with that shit. So, yeah, get like I said, a big name. I want a celebrity, like they did with Multiverse of Madness, getting Sam Raimi. But then let him do his own thing.
Yeah. And, if you bring in, an Abrams, I think right away there's going to be, some hesitation from fans. For some reason, I forget why. Maybe, the last franchise movie he directed. But I do think he's, a...
Super 8?
What? Yeah. I think, he is a very good idea guy.
That's why I think this would be perfect for him.
So, if he has ideas, but, he kind of has the guidance from, the producers to be but this is where we got to go.
I think he'd be perfect for that because he can't end anything he writes. So Feige will tell him, you don't have to do that.
And Feige can't really end.
That is true, yeah. It just keeps going. Endgame was a good one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they could tell him, listen, these are where the characters need to end up at the end. In the middle, you could do what you want. And he's got such a great eye for big spectacles. So that's definitely what you need with the Fantastic Four. You don't need the strongest story in the world, but those original movies suck because the action is horrible and the CGI is not great. And it's just overall goofy. But don't make a goofy, bad action movie.
And I've seen people throw out, if MCU, Mr. Fantastic, maybe why doesn't he direct it?
That's a risk. It's too much. In terms of, I think it's people underestimate how hard it is to star in these movies. Talking about the quality of acting, whatever, but it's so physically demanding. Mm-hmm. The travel, it's like a 3-4 month long shoot, and to also direct it. Mm-hmm. Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, he didn't even make it to day 1 of shooting before he realized this was too much. That wouldn't, if it wasn't Mr. Fantastic, I think that would be actually a solid option. He did a great job with especially which to me was so much better than the first one. Olivia Wilde. There you go. If her next movie's good, then just put her in there.
Fantastic Four? or as in the cast.
This isn't on the outline, but did you hear about the writer of Multiverse of Madness saying that they did want to try and get Tom Cruise, but they knew that the scheduling would never match up? He's coming. That. They're going to get Cruise for one of these crossover movies. That I'm so sure of it now.
But where are we where we're not even like bringing back old actors now, but we're bringing back people who might have been cast?
Yeah, it's like alternate universe shit. Yeah. Cruise played him in the 90s in some other universe out there.
It's like kind of meta in that way, where it's like alternate universe of alternate castings in our real world.
Right, we're going to see Cillian Murphy's Batman. Well, they also dropped some news about it's the same writer for Multiverse of Madness is writing Feige's Star Wars movie. So we still don't know what that's going to be, but it looks like they're writing it.
Yeah. Take your time. No
Good
rush.
Point. Speaking of taking your time, Westworld Season 4. 4 seasons in about, it feels like 7 years, but I think it's been 6, right? Westworld Season 1 was 2016.
Yeah.
Talk about a trailer that did not leave a mark. This came and went. We mentioned on the Fan Question podcast that I didn't even know this had released until hours later when somebody else tweeted about how no one's talking about it. In terms of the look of the trailer, it looks great. Once again, every season is kind of upgraded. I imagine they're getting bigger budgets. I don't know if this budget was actually bigger after Season 3. But yeah, for this show, there's little to no excitement on my end because the second half of Season 3 to me was a disaster, and it's almost impossible for me to remember anything that happened. I kind of remember where all the characters left off. So yeah, it looks cool visually. I love all the actors. It's such a stacked cast. Season 1 to me is still one of the best seasons of television ever, but I'm not excited for this. I hate to say it.
It's not that I'm like not excited, but like I'm not like actively anticipating it. I wasn't like sitting at home like last week like, oh man, we didn't get a Westworld trailer. Like I want that trailer. I think Season 3 definitely fell off from the first two. Season 2 not as much. I think we all go back to Season 1 and how great it was. It definitely was much like better than Season 2, but I still enjoyed Season 2. Season 3 I think had its moments of intrigue, but like you said, it always just felt like it was missing something. It wasn't the same show at times, and I think it's hard to do that, especially when you're trying to balance the real world and with the parks. You're going to go different ways, but I think I'll definitely like give it a shot and watch the beginning. I'll watch the first couple episodes.
I'll be tuning in for episode 1.
Yeah.
But short leash.
Yeah.
If they don't give me a banger episode 1, maybe Maeve can make me stick around because seeing Tandy Newton.
Maeve is, she's the best.
I wish that actress would get more roles. I really wish that sort of the impact that, I don't know if it was because of Westworld that Tessa Thompson got more roles, but it feels like once she premiered in that show, she became this big star. Blockbuster movies, critically acclaimed dramas. Tandy Newton, they put her in the Solo movie and killed her in 5 minutes. And she's got such great charisma on screen. She's such a charming actress. She's someone I'd love to see in like the John Wick franchise, you know?
She was in Mission Impossible 2, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, she was. She'd be a great Bond girl, too.
Well, I think, like you said, with the cast now, like, it is crazy to see like Tessa Thompson. I think they'll probably give her, like, I think she had a huge role last season. I think
they knew what they had.
Continue to give her a bigger and bigger role. But yeah, like with Ed Harris, Jeffrey Wright, Evan Rachel Wood, like, Aaron Paul, like, you have some fucking great actors on your hands here. You even got a Hemsworth.
The cheapest Hemsworth. Yeah, at the Hemsworth store.
But, like, it's still a Hemsworth.
Still a Hemsworth, yeah.
Like, you buy a BMW, you know, it might not be a 5 Series, but you're still driving around in a Beamer, you know?
Who else was I going to mention about Ed Harris, seeing him back dressed as the Man in Black. I know that's something that you wanted to see out of the show, going back to the parks. So I wonder how they're going to work that together. I hope that this is a good season for their sake because it feels like Season 1 was written by entirely different people. So it's very weird because Jonathan Nolan obviously has had success with the movies and Person of Interest. So he's got a resume here. But for a little while there, it looked like Lisa Joy could be one of these, you know, newer names. You know, maybe go on to direct her some great movies and stuff like that. So I hope that they have a bounce back season. Their Season 3 was like the Lakers past season, you know? A lot of injuries. Roster didn't really fit.
But it's like they kept, like, even at Season 1, obviously, Anthony Hopkins being...
I thought you were going to say Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
You want to talk about something missing.
Yeah. Season 2, he was still around, but like not...
But even the way they use him, you could tell they were trying to recreate that magic from Season 1.
But then in the last season, we had Vincent Castle, who I thought was fantastic. but like now he's not around anymore. So we need someone to fill. We don't need someone to fill that void, but I feel like there is something left with like this presence that's like on the outside looking in. Because I always felt like, even with Dr. Ford, like he was part of the show, but he just felt like a whole separate entity.
Yeah, he was like an omnipotent puppet master. You know, his control over the park, of the hosts. And Vincent Cassel, I think, they didn't use him well enough because he was very good in that role. And it looked like for a little bit he was going to fill those shoes of Anthony Hopkins, which is almost impossible. But they just did a terrible job writing his character at the end. So like I said, I hope that this is a better season of television, and I hope they end it.
Is this the final season?
I don't think that there's any confirmation on that, so maybe HBO is waiting to see. It doesn't feel like a show that would even go beyond a season 4 or season 5. Man, you never go past season 1 of Westworld. Whew, you're sitting on the greatest miniseries of all time.
Right, but I think...
And it was also such a good ending to never do anything ever again.
I think it still has a solid following. So even if season 4 is very much like season 3, maybe I don't see them doing a season 5, but I feel like if they need to wrap it up, there's potential for a movie.
I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
That goes straight to HBO Max.
Yeah.
Speaking of new things coming to HBO Max, Viola Davis is set to star in a Peacemaker spin-off series. That's funny to you, right? Because Peacemaker's a spin-off of the Suicide Squad. They're spinning off the spin-off.
Yeah.
Is that why you were laughing?
Yeah, but like...
Or were you holding back a sneeze?
Why is it a Peacemaker spin-off when she had a more prominent role in Suicide Squad?
It's so strange. I mean, at the end of Peacemaker, wasn't she outed by her daughter?
Mm-hmm.
She was trying to basically aid an alien invasion or put it all on Chris Smith.
Yeah.
Poor guy. I wonder if it will be Amanda Waller on the run or maybe a prequel series.
I mean, Amanda Waller is a fucking badass character.
And she was the perfect actress.
It's so weird. Like, I feel like Viola Davis just like likes this character too. Like she's,
oh yeah. No, she gets a kick out of it without a doubt.
It's kind of like refreshing to see someone of her talent and esteem like embrace. Like she was like a minor character in Suicide Squad. Even in the first one, that movie sucked. She came back for a second one. She was still a part of it, but like it was definitely an ensemble where she didn't have it like the biggest role. Probably got a fucking check though. And in Peacemaker, she's on FaceTime the whole time. I guess she just loves this shit.
I respect that about her too.
Yeah.
Also, the pay is probably not bad.
It's probably pretty good.
Now she gets to lead a show. I think that this could be huge because Viola Davis, obviously comic book fans are going to be familiar with her. DC fans love Amanda Waller. Mm-hmm. I always say she's just a better Nick Fury because they don't hide from how fucked up she can be. Mm-hmm. They don't let her get away with some of the fucked up things that she does like they do with Nick Fury.
Yeah, Nick Fury's always right.
Yeah, it's Nick Fury. They talk about, he's got blood on his hands, but he's still our best friend. Waller's a scumbag, and the people who work for Waller hate her. So, and it was interesting to see her humanized with those scenes with her daughter because that's something we've never seen out of this character. So that tells me, that she does have a lighter side that she tries to hide and that she keeps tucked away for certain people. So I want to see more of the complexities of this character.
Yeah, and like I feel like she doesn't like, you sometimes you see like people of her ability or status kind of like shy away from television. Like she embraces TV.
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. Right. She's doing the First Lady show right now.
Yeah.
Which is really split.
How to Get Away with Murder, probably
viewers.
where she like really started. I mean, obviously, like I think with.
But that was a huge show, man.
Yeah.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Right. So like, she's definitely. I think she has like a I don't know. TV, like she doesn't like look down on TV.
No,
like you would think other I don't know established actors do. So. I'm all for
who was
it.
the actor recently that said they wouldn't do TV?
Because I think
it was Liam Neeson.
Yeah. Well, like, fuck you, Liam Neeson.
But Liam Neeson's also a guy, like, I don't need to see Liam Neeson on an HBO drama.
Yeah.
He's going for an Emmy.
But I'm pretty sure, like, she won her Oscar for Doubt.
Okay.
Did she get an Oscar for Doubt?
I'm not sure.
Nominated. I know Amy Adams didn't.
She definitely got an Oscar for Fences.
Yes, but I'm saying, like...
Right, she got her start. She was in the film
got it nominated,
industry.
But she like, I think how to Get Away with Murder is after that, right?
Yeah, it was.
So, it's nice. Like, I'll bounce around. I'll win Emmys. I'll win Oscars.
Right, I think for a lot of these actors, like even The Rock, man, he was starting to become one of the biggest stars in the world at that time. And you would think that somebody was in his ear saying, you really want to do? He talks about this, that people told him, like, you want to do TV now? So yeah, why not? And that became, it's not the most critically acclaimed or beloved show, but it ran for 6 seasons, and there were a lot of people enjoyed it.
Ballers got 6 seasons?
I think Ballers got 6 seasons. Fact check that.
No, I should have got nominated. Talk about a cast, though. Meryl Streep nominated. Philip Seymour Hoffman nominated. Amy Adams and Viola Davis nominated.
I've never seen that movie.
You ever seen Doubt?
Never seen it.
I like Doubt.
What is it? I don't even know what it's about.
It's weird, that's kind of weird to say. Like, I like that movie. It's a good movie, but like, it's about Catholic Church.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Philip Seymour Hoffman's a priest. It's like,
no.
he, you know, and Amy Adams and Meryl Streep are the nuns. And
oh God.
Yeah.
So it's a comedy.
Yes.
I'm surprised because the Academy doesn't normally nominate comedies. Phil, they were talking about actors who they would want to play. I forget what the role was on the Michael K. show, and Rosenberg suggested Seymour Hoffman, and they were all like, "He's dead, right?" Like, is he? Is he? I don't know. And it's one of those names where you kind of do forget that sometimes because he's such a legend. And it was so tragic when it did happen. He died so young. It almost feels like he's still here because it was just the other day he was in The Master or he was in The Hunger Games. And it sucks, man. That's such a tremendous loss.
He was always just fucking good.
He's incredible.
Even like Along Came Polly.
Yeah. So
that's
good.
what I like. That's really my introduction to him.
Well, he said that was the one movie that people that was the one they most reference when they'd see him on the streets.
Him a Rainmaker?
Yeah. Which is, that became a meme itself,
to be
too.
fair, no one's going to be like referencing Dowd or The Master.
Boogie Nights!
That would be a weird reference to walk by him and be like...
Isn't he in Big Lebowski, too? I think Philip Seymour Hoffman's in the Big Lebowski. That would be such a deep cut.
That's a movie like I don't rewatch as much as people do. 'Cause I feel like that's a favorite among a lot of people. I'm like, I'll watch Big Lebowski. I think I've only like really seen it twice.
I fucking love the Big Lebowski, man. The speech that that John Goodman gives, Philip Seymour Hoffman is in that. When he's he's eulogizing Steve Buscemi's character and then he just turns it into the Vietnam War vets. Is the funniest fucking scene in the history of movies. But James Gunn is producing this. I imagine he'll be involved with the writing as well, and that he's going to bring on some new directors. There was also the recent news that Jennifer Holland, who played what was her name in the Peacemaker show? Harcourt. Yeah, that she's joining Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, nice. That makes sense.
Right? Yeah, nepotism.
Yeah, but like, cool.
I wouldn't hate it if I had a famous uncle.
When it's like done bad and it's like, ugh, if she was terrible, but I thought she was good in that role.
My favorite form of nepotism is LeBron saying I'm going to sign with any team Bronny gets drafted to.
But it's like, all right,
kid's going to be out of the league in 3 years.
If I'm applying for a job and I lose out because the nephew of the CEO gets that job, I'm like, fuck that. That's stupid. I'm better than them. If it was clearly a form of nepotism. If I'm the nephew, I'm like, yo, come on, like, hook me up. Yeah.
You made me go do the work? Come on.
So, I'm not in a position to have nepotism benefit me.
Right, that's why I hate it. All right, let's move on to fan questions.
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! People you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and you're trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
Ooh, good first question here from Victor Tellez. After they did Kingpin Dirty and Hawkeye, I have to ask, which are your top 3 MCU villains? So I imagine he was a Kingpin fan. Compared to season 3 Kingpin, Hawkeye Kingpin is a teddy bear. Even though he was a bit more physically imposing in terms of just his overall strength, but just the demeanor of the character was nowhere near what they crafted in Daredevil season 3. So top 3 MCU villains, it's so easy at this point. It's Thanos, Killmonger, and Loki. Even though he's sort of
it's hard to put
anti-hero,
but in that movie,
yeah. And I think even in the first Thor movie, he's the best part of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
he's also so good in the Loki show where he's a villain for half of the show. I mean, some other, I still think, I don't love that movie, but Ego was a great villain. Vulture, obviously, is somebody people suggest a lot. Tony Leung and Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that's actually a good one.
He stole that movie.
Recent movies. You could even argue, like, I mean, it's weird to say, like, fucking Goblin, like, Willem Dafoe.
Oh, yeah, he's...
But it's weird, 'cause, like, can I count the first two Spider-Men in this? Because he is MCU?
I would say only No Way Home, but his No Way Home performance is still up there.
Yeah.
He's top 5, without
Isolated
a doubt.
in that movie, he's still fucking really good.
I mean, you're making me want to put him over Loki, actually.
Spider-Man got some good villains. Who's, Jake Gyllenhaal. Not bad.
No, not bad. I think the Spider-Man movies for all 3 movies, the Spider-Man villains for all 3 movies have been very strong.
Mm-hmm.
This question here from Alex Pozniak. Shout out to Alex at Boris_247. Oh, 2047. What type of villain do you prefer in movies, TV, video games? The villain that has the same powers as the hero, or the villain that's the opposite of the hero? Well, Marvel does that a lot, the same powers. Put up a mirror to the hero, show them what they could become if they ever went the opposite direction, and I guess that's cool. It's worked out for them.
It's easy. I mean, but it's also like, yeah, like you said, it's like some of them, like, it's like Flash, Reverse Flash, or like when Ant-Man, and then you have Yellow Jacket, which is pretty much on the nose. Even the first Iron Man, I don't know, Captain America to an extent, because like Bucky is just a alternate super soldier. But I also do enjoy like the Superman Lex Luthor dynamic.
That was going to be my choice.
Yeah.
I love it when the hero's so overpowered and the villain's just a normal person, genius, pulling the strings. Even in shows like Ozark, Omar Navarro to me was such a great presence in that show. I love the shadow villains. It's like anime does a much better job of the hero and the villain have similar powers. Like what they're doing in My Hero Academia with Deku and Shigaraki, the way they're exploring their development as hero and villain, leveling up, learning more about their pasts and their potential powers. So that's been a fun dynamic.
Yeah, and obviously like with Star Wars, it's very much... They're literally like just the antithesis of each other.
Well, I think that's why, Green Goblin was so great in No Way Home, because it was just...
Parallel, whatever.
The duality of that character. When he becomes the Green Goblin, it's just pure villainy. I'm a god. My reasons are because I can. Or even, Mr. C in Twin Peaks The Return. The scene that always sits with me is when he's at the diner and they're like, you need this information? And he's like, I don't need, I want. And that line always stuck with me throughout the rest of The Return, because that's just what he is. His essence is greed, pleasure. That's his only purpose. So to me, that can be a very effective villain as well. People made that complaint about Thanos, that he should have just showed up and was like, is this your gods? And wiped the floor with them, snapped half the universe, and baked a cake. But I think that there are still elements of Thanos in the Thanos that we got. That those elements still do exist there.
Well, you kind of get both.
I think we do get both.
Because Endgame, he's very much like, oh wait, these people think they like can step to me like this.
That's why I love Endgame Thanos. He's an arrogant prick.
And he's just like, I'm just gonna wipe you out for fun.
The comparison that he's 2013 LeBron and 2018 Thanos is Infinity War, the old vet. LeBron said, you line up young LeBron against me, I'm going to take him to school. But you definitely, I think you even get it in Infinity War. Because even though he is moralizing, it's all bullshit. And I think he knows it's bullshit, but he's just a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Loki says it to him in the beginning, you will never be a god. And I think that's very much what it's about. Like, I know how to fix the world, so I'm going to acquire this power and do what I think is right. To me, that's just as psychotic.
Yeah. I agree with you, though, when you said, like, I like the superpowered hero and underdog. Not even, like, just, regular villain.
Yeah.
Like a humanized villain. Because, like, I think we've seen most stories, I think, have some element of the underdog story for the hero. And that's kind of overdone. So when it's, like, kind of flipped, like, who can take down Superman? And it's just this fucking rich guy, genius. And it's like, okay, that's interesting. How is he going to do it? And obviously, if it's not done right, then it comes off as stupid. But if there's like an actual real way of being able to manipulate Superman or kind of outsmart him, then it's definitely like something I think I prefer.
Yeah, it's always fun when you see that play out. This question here from Cowboy Stannis. Have you watched Winning Time? So, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I really liked them, and I'm going to catch up on that. Yeah, I'm going to binge that. So 7 episodes, not that much. I've heard so many good things about it. Very Adam McKay in terms of the visual style and the humor and the writing. But if you're a fan of Adam McKay, and for the most part I have been throughout my life, I imagine you will enjoy that. And I think I'm going to enjoy that binge as well.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but it is something I will probably put on relatively soon and just knock out.
This question here from Nick D. Thoughts on Kendrick Lamar's The Heart Part 5? The Heart Part 5. Where does Kendrick rank for you in the GOAT conversation?
GOAT.
It may be early for some. Jay-Z's my favorite rapper ever, and I also think Jay-Z for a long time was the best solo rap artist. I think Kendrick for me is the #1 solo rap artist. Just lyrics, we can get into that conversation. There's so many great lyricists, but in terms of rap artist, he's the best. And The Heart Part 5 was incredible. The music video was great, the look of it, the red background, the white tee, the bandana around his neck, the deep fakes into all these other celebrities. The lyricism for Kendrick Lamar, he's one of the best ever. You know, some of those verses are just straight poetry. So for me, like I said, it may be early for some people. He's #1. And if this album's on par with the other 3...
Well, that's absurd. That's an absurd run.
It solidifies it.
Yeah. I think his style, too, like, he's very... I don't want to say, like, he adapts, like, or changes it up too much, but, like, he can really hit any style he wants.
He's very good at that.
Yeah.
I think Tyler, the Creator, commented on this recently, that he's always trying out new voices, new sounds. He's not afraid to stretch the boundaries of what hip-hop is supposed to sound like. And I think that's why Kanye... See, Kanye, I don't... there's a good argument that he's the #1 hip-hop artist of all time. But for me, he's almost in like the Bob Marley, John Lennon, Michael Jackson, Prince category, which is... He's just such a legend. It's the same thing with when they say best rapper out today. It's like, can I still say Jay-Z? Because if he drops a song, it's going to do incredible numbers. If Jay-Z dropped an album on Friday, it would sell more than Jack Harlow's. Jack Harlow's like the guy right now, or it would be comparable. So you could still consider, but Jay-Z's such a legend. You know, he's kind of like above that. So for Kanye and Kendrick, I think that's actually the better argument there.
It's always like, I don't know why it is for music, because like Scorsese, even though he's up there in age, he can still drop a movie, and it's an event. Everyone knows about it. It's a thing. Like, we got to go to the theater. It's going to do big numbers and yada yada yada. Even like David Bowie, like I think he mentioned his like last album before he died. Like when artists get like if Paul McCartney dropped an album tomorrow, I almost feel like it's not real.
Yeah, it like when Chuck Berry passed away and everyone was like, Chuck Berry was still alive? Because they're such legends, you know? It feels like they've already departed us mere mortals.
It's like I'm not expecting anything like it to be like, and they probably are good albums, but like I'm not expecting it to be like any classics.
Oh, you're talking about like in terms of in terms of like its actual quality.
It's quality, but I also just feel like, oh, it's okay, whatever. They just had like these extra songs lying around, and even though that's probably not the case, just to me it always just feels like, I don't know, just the vibe around it. It's like, yes, Paul McCartney is the most recognizable name probably in rock and roll still, but like, I don't think anyone cares when he drops albums.
But it's so hard to stay consistent musically. That's why I say, you look at solo rap artists, dude, there's not a lot of them that stuck around for a long time. That's why Jay-Z is such a phenomenon, because for 2 decades plus, he's put out consistently good music. But I think that's hard for any genre of music. That's why Bowie was such an anomaly. Because you go back to the 70s, the 80s, the albums were great for those times. And then the final album he dropped in 2016 sounds nothing like that. And it comes out and it's one of his best albums ever. So, and that's also with Kanye as well, where he's managed to stay consistent with his projects over the years. Even though some people, you love him or hate the last 5 or 6 years or so. But K-Dot bringing it back, yeah, he's #1, man. I can't fucking... The title, man. When he dropped the title... He's the best, man. He's a creative genius. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
It always jars me, though, when like you realize how short he is.
Yeah, he's a little dude.
Like at the Super Bowl, I'm like, oh my God. He's just such a presence.
Yeah, somebody said that he raps like he's 6'6". I think he once said that too. He's like 5'5", 6'5" lyrically. I was like, woo! This question here from Homero. We'll take one more. Why is Ridley Scott underrated and Spielberg praised? Well, when Spielberg first came on the scene, he just had an incredible stretch of movies. It was just banger, 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 banger. Ridley Scott never did that. Ridley Scott's career has been banger, banger. What the fuck? Good movie, banger. Oh my God. Good movie, banger. I don't know why I'm getting so into this. But that's kind of been...
You dropped 7 bangers. You think he's got 7 bangers?
Did I give him 7 bangers there?
I think so.
Well, you have Thelma and Louise, banger. American Gangster, banger. Blade Runner, banger. Alien, banger. The Martian, I would put banger.
Gladiator. Banger. 6 bangers.
Did we get... Oh, that wasn't 7?
I got 6.
What's the other Ridley that's good? Oh, House of Gucci. Banger. Yeah, so I think that's the case with Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott is one of those dudes who... He's knighted. So he's been recognized to that extent. But he's like... It's almost like Vince Carter. You know? Hall of Famer, great player, but he's not necessarily in that rare air of filmmaker. And when you put best Ridley Scott up against best Spielberg, it's a competition. But when you put the full filmographies against the other guys, you know, Ridley's whole catalog can't hold up to Spielberg's.
Yeah, and I think I'm trying to think like what is his most, because like obviously we can point out Blade Runner, but like commercial success,
Gladiator probably.
Yeah, or Alien. But like even those, like his most commercial successful movies don't hold a candle to Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah. That's a good point as well. No, he doesn't have a sort of.
And even Schindler's List, for the type of movie it is, like everybody knows that movie and knows how good it is.
Yeah, you would say that his most iconic would probably be, you know, for some people it's Black Hawk Down. I think more people, they don't associate Ridley Scott with that movie, but if you told a lot of casual fans, you've seen Black Hawk Down, like, oh yeah, I fucking love that movie. His brother had more of those movies, actually. Top Gun, Man on Fire, and all the other great Tony Scott movies.
Right. And like, but just like they just hit different when you say like Saving Private Ryan. Like that's just embedded in our brains as just an absolute classic.
Yeah, you're comparing. You're not doing any favors by putting Ridley Scott up against Spielberg. You know, Spielberg's the one. You might not think he's the greatest filmmaker of all time, but just based on consensus, based on popularity, he is the most legendary and recognizable, at least for American directors. So
we even mentioned like just E.T. and Jaws, like
stacked.
Like what is that?
Stacked. He's very good.
But like yeah, like when you think about just the most iconic, just not even you can argue all day like what movies you prefer, but just as far as their place in our society, like it's hard to compare.
Well, Homero actually had a second question. Has Martin Scorsese made any original movies?
I love that opinion for a lot of people said about Tarantino.
Yeah, you know what, Tarantino, I mean, with Scorsese, I think that a lot of the movies, obviously the big ones, are the gangster movies. So that criticism is always levied at him, which is obviously not fair whatsoever because he's done every type of movie. You know, the first one I'm suggesting here is an original, Mean Streets. It is a gangster movie, but that was an original movie. His movie After Hours was an original. Alice Doesn't Live Here, I think that's one of his most underrated movies because that's the other criticism that he gets, that he doesn't have any movies with strong female leads. Mm-hmm. Nobody's seen Alice Doesn't Live Here. Obviously, it's not like something he did time and time again in his career, but still a great movie.
Yeah, I think that's a criticism. I mean,
but he's right under Spielberg in terms of name. Those are the two famous names in filmmaking, so it makes sense that everybody just associates those big gangster movies because those have been his most successful and arguably his best.
Right, and I was thinking more of like, for him, is definitely like, you know, some of them are, I mean, yeah, obviously, what I was going to say. Like, most of them are, like, when you think Scorsese, you think of, like, the gangster movies. But, yeah, like you said, he's definitely, like, I think, well-versed and doesn't have to stick to those type of movies.
He's also never directed a bad movie, and he's directed, like, 30 movies.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I mean, I haven't seen some of these, but it's insane, his consistency, dude.
But it's like you can argue, I mean, sure, I guess Wolf of Wall Street, you can consider it. It's not really a gangster movie, though, even though like it has some of the same themes and kind of takes the kind of Goodfellas approach when it comes to your protagonist. But like, you know, Taxi Driver, Shutter Island, it's one of my favorites. I know people do like it. I don't think it's his most critically acclaimed film, but
it's also very popular.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, Shutter Island is very popular.
A lot of people know Shutter Island. They've seen it.
But that's coming out soon. Silence. So over the years, I mean, obviously The Irishman, but like, what? Like, let me just get the timeline up right here. Is he still making that Theodore Roosevelt movie? That's on his IMDb.
I think so, yeah. Leo's attached to play Theodore Roosevelt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those that I don't think it's in production, but...
But like from his... All right, so after The Departed, which is a gangster movie or a mob movie or however you want to describe it, you have Shutter Island, Hugo, Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, The Irishman, and then I have Killers of the Flower Moon. So one in the last 5, like, I don't know. I guess Goodfellas and Casino are the most popular, maybe, or The Departed.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I was, I guess you were making the point that they're not all gangster movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. People, I think it's a lot of Marvel fans when he comes out and he shits on the Marvel movies and they're like, oh, make another movie that's not a gangster movie. And then it's like, well, I have. I'm currently doing that. He's like on set for Silence reading these tweets. All you make is gangster movies.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely like Tarantino's up there in terms of name. Nolan, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But it still does shakes up the movie verse when he drops one.
Yeah, he's a household name, man. Like those guys, Tarantino, Nolan, Scorsese, Spielberg. I would say those are probably the 4 most recognizable directors still working today.
And like Hugo. We don't talk about Hugo.
I know, Hugo doesn't get enough love. Well, I feel like that's a movie that people don't realize Scorsese made it, you know?
Yeah.
It was nominated for Oscars. It was critically acclaimed. Yeah, he's I've said it before, man, best living American filmmaker. Or David Lynch. All right, guys, that is the Nerd Soup podcast for today. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week, hopefully with Teddy. Like we said, we're getting him here this weekend. We don't know if he's going to be back for the podcast, but we'll have Nash in as a replacement. Nash had a little a job interview today. We'll call it that. But for Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey, I am Bo Oliver. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for joining us. Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Go pledge $1 at our Patreon if you want to hear some Marissa thoughts on Doctor Strange 2. And yeah, peace.
Damn, we were making some good points in that video. Hey guys, Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey here. Before we end this video, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. What can I say about you guys that I haven't already said about myself? You are the most important part of the channel and the main reason we keep going strong. Like Bo says, you keep the lights on in the fridge so the fridge is full. Or something like that. So, from everyone here at Nerd Soup, I'd like to thank you guys for your continued support. If you're interested in joining the ranks of our patron supporters, head over to patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out the rewards we offer to our patrons. We recently dropped some new stickers for you guys to check out, or you could choose a tier that will allow you to select a movie, show, or video game for us to review. We've got a full slate of fan-suggested reviews coming your way, and we're really excited about the chance to review some of those movies and shows. We've also got t-shirts, mugs, behind-the-scenes videos showing how we bring our videos to life. And once again, thank you to all our Patreon pledgers who have been supporting us throughout the years. Without you, we wouldn't be able to convert all your pledges into cryptocurrency, so thank you from my future self for making us rich.